Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I can only massively apologise for the tardiness of the stream this evening. It seems that Streamlabs decided to drop a massive update on the day we're going live, which has caused almost the whole Streamlabs universe to go through some sort of elongated process to get themselves up and running. But we've made it. We're through the worst of it. We're here, we're live. Phew! We nearly called it time and said we can't stream tonight, but we got through the issues. We've made it through the worst of it, and we have another evening of Sunday racing coming direct to your mobile phones, to your TV screens, to your projectors, however you're watching us this evening. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us if you've been waiting around for the stream to start. We've got GT4s this evening. We're at Zolder, and it should be a very exciting evening indeed. So please let us know if you're in the channel this evening. Drop us a little message. Once again, massive apologies for the issues. The software, as I said, just had decided to have an update today and cause everyone some issues. But hey, we're past it now. Rolfie, good evening. Of course, that is a perfect cue to introduce my man on co-commentator tonight. It is, of course, Jamie.
Well, hello again. Rolfie will be pleased, I'm sure. My biggest fan, I think.
Your biggest fan indeed. Your biggest fan. But yeah, that was a bit of a nightmare, wasn't it, Jamie?
Oh, well, we were having heart palpitations. We were so gutted because we were thinking, we got such an amazing race with amazing cars, a wonderful track. We were thinking, if we can't bring this to those guys out there, they're going to be devastated. We're going to be devastated. But thank God, it looks like we finally managed to get it going.
Finally managed to get it going indeed. And because of the delay, we've missed practice. We're straight into qualifying. So we're going to head right over now and get stuck straight in. Oh, so here we are. Yes, Trevor, it's very laggy on my screen as well. This software this evening is having all sorts of problems. I think if I was them, I would revert to the latest update for this software very, very quickly because it seems to have gone massively downhill. But hey, hopefully it's going to sort itself out soon. We're on board with Mr. Salt. We have just over 6 minutes remaining of the qualifying session. Good evening, Crichton. Good evening, Johnny. Yes. Apologies for the lag. Maybe you can't even hear me saying that. I'm going to have to type a little message in there. But Jamie, talk us through what's on the screen, my friend.
Yeah, so we're just on board with Mr. Salt now. Yeah, it seems like the lag is with the picture only. It looks okay on my screen for the live race, but just watching the Twitch stream. Oh, it seems like it might have just slipped into working a bit better actually now. So apologies to everyone. I think the sound's coming through okay there, Ryan.
Okay, good.
We're going to have to play it by ear tonight, I think.
Just typing a little message for all streamers using this software system. Right, anyway, we're here, Jamie. 5 minutes in to qualifying, and Seb H, ye oldie favourite towards the top of the leaderboard, is taking first place with a 1:39. He's going to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, fresh off his really close run in the championship in the amazing last round we had last week. He's on great form. The only man in the 138s in practice. Actually, let's see. Can you guess who the only man in the 138s was in the practice?
I'm going to go for Bibby.
It's not Bibby.
Oh, who was it?
One more go. Or one more go, and I'll tell you.
I don't want to go an obvious guess, so I'm going to go Bob.
No, it was the man himself, T-Mac.
Oh, of course it was.
Right at the end,
was T-Mac.
Popped it up there. But there was loads of guys in the low 39s. Really close. Really, really close. There's a lot of quick guys there. We always say that, but we got 27 races tonight. Really quick guys out there.
Ooh.
Yeah, so this is going to be a tight one, I think.
Really tight one. This track, Zolder, is fantastic. Loads of opportunity to get your foot down, as you'll see from the long straights we have this evening. But, importantly, 3 chicanes sporadically throughout the track, one towards the end, one towards the start, one towards the middle, and that's where we're just going round one of them. No, we're not quite. They're going to be the areas this evening where we could see errors happening, people maybe braking late, braking early. That's where we could see a lot of action as well. But unlike a lot of tracks we've seen on the street recently, the straights this evening, Jamie, give us slightly new dimension to work with.
Yeah, it's a big open track, isn't it? We're not used to that. These cars are super quick in a straight line, and so they're primed to take advantage of that. Those really long straights. We should see some brilliant slipstreaming, and therefore some great overtakes. Hopefully, as Bert has just run slightly wide there, so we'll nip on with Rob 3.
Indeed, as Rolfie says, don't work with kids, animals, Project Cars 2, and a fourth one into that classic phrase used on this stream. Don't work with software updates either, but hey, they were thrust upon us, nothing we can do. But shunting off the track already as people go flying off behind there as we're on board with Rob 3. He's already got a lot of damage this evening. Obviously on a Sunday stream the last 4 weeks we have of course had our Formula Rookie Championship, and they are made of paper, but these cars this evening seem like they might be made with some sort of metallic substance this evening, so it could take a little bit of a nudge here and there, Jamie.
They can do, yeah, certainly more than those cars whose wheels seem to pop off with a slight breeze. But chucking out my earlier comment on practice, we've already got 3 guys in the 138s already. T-Mac, Seb and Drux, only 2 tenths between the 3 of them. Dantes are not far behind with, I mean, to be honest, I'd be quite proud if I was him. I'd rather have a 1:39.000. There's something very perfect about that. The OCD's kicking in.
Nailed it.
But yet again, we got T-Mac out front, but very, very close. Seb H, we've seen how quick he is. Ayrton Bennett in 5th, lurking. He's 6 tenths off at the moment, but we know he's unbelievably fast when he gets his head down.
Yes.
And interesting tonight, we've got a few of the new Gamers regulars joining this stream. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on, especially our current reigning champion, Bob 3.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how Bob's going to get on this evening. Obviously, we've given him a lot of banter about the Sunday stream over the last few weeks, saying, in general, and this is a generalisation, I'm going to say it again, we do have some quality races on a Sunday, which, the calibre at the very top of the leaderboard is so strong. So I'm going to be really interested to see how Bob gets on amongst this pack this evening, see where he fares. Obviously, on a Thursday, he's making short work of the competitors on a Thursday. He's champion of season 1. Looks like he might even win season 2 as well. So you could almost say this is stepping up from, say, the Championship to the Premier League for him this evening. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets on.
No, I wouldn't say that, especially if Crichton Alpha's in the chat, because he's not happy with comments like that. So I apologise to everyone on Ryan's behalf there. But no,
I'm doing a Richard Keys. I'm saying stuff just to cause
just
some
reaction.
Just some reaction. Yeah.
Maybe we should go work in the Middle East and make an absolute fortune. Yeah, I like that idea.
But Jamie, just over a minute to go. T-Mac still leads the way, and then we've just had a new member to the 138 club in Mr. Salt. So it's getting very tasty at the top of the leaderboard this evening.
It is, and Mr. Salt, we know, has announced actually that he'll be leaving the Thursday the championship after the completion of this season, because he's been accepted into the Apex Online Racing Leagues, which is the real big league. So he seriously seems like he's been really getting into a sim racing lately, putting a lot of time in, making some big improvements, and we can see this. You know, only half a second off T-Mac. He is seriously quick these days, and if you couple that with his renowned consistency, he's in with a great chance of what is becoming a regular podium for him.
Well, exactly right. As you point out, he has got consistency, and as Invertigo points out on the track, it looks like a very healthy-looking car that he's driving in qualifying. So he's obviously managed to keep it on the track and away from trouble during qualifying, let alone the race. So everything working in his favour this evening. We're on board if Tuku takes a spin into the wall. What a
beautiful,
fantastic view we got of Tuke there. Good stuff from Tuke. And Fergs drops in to say hello. He is, of course, top of our bits leaderboard, and he's making more gains this evening with another 10 bits thrown our way. So big up to Fergs for his support as ever. Of course, he's there to be beaten, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to get involved and attack Fergs at the top of that leaderboard with your bit donations this evening, that'd be very much appreciated. But thank you for joining us here. Qualifying is coming down to a close. We have 4 members of the 138 club this evening, with T-Mac leading the race. Seb H just in second, Drux in third, Mr. Salt fourth. But Jamie, just outside of that top 4, you've still got Artin Benny, you've still got Bibby, you've still got Don Tito,
yeah.
Bob down in ninth at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, like you just said, I was going to say earlier, this is his time to put his money where his mouth is, really, isn't it? You know, it's interesting. Let's see how it goes. Bob and Rob, the 2 new gamers, right next to each other in 9th and 10th, so hopefully that should be a good battle.
Yes, we're looking at Callie's broken and battered car limbering round the last few corners of this track. Just 50 seconds to go. I mean, the screen's broken, the bonnet's broken, it's all going wrong for some of our racers here in qualifying this evening. But thank you for joining us. Apologies for the lateness this evening. Streamlabs OBS decided to chuck a massive update down on everybody, and it has caused all sorts of problems amongst the community, and they've had to actually post out with a "here's how to fix your stream" guide this evening, which was brilliantly timed ahead of the Sunday stream this evening. But we're here, we're live, we've got 25 seconds to go to the end of qualifying, and what should be an amazing 35-minute race in these GT4 cars at Zolder. So Jamie, qualifying session's over. Talk us through the top few cars.
Okay, so top 3, T-Mac, Seb H and Drux, not separated by much at all. T-Mac with a 138 flat though, that is an incredible lap time. Mr. Sol also joined the 138 club in 4th, 5th on T-Tour, Bibby in 6th, Ayrton in 7th, and the screen's gone.
So there we go.
Let me continue. Area Motorsport 8th, Bob in 9th, and Rob rolling out the top 10. Now, of course, today we've got something brand new for the stream, Ryan, don't we?
We do. Now, this is going to be
really,
really interesting. We have a manual, that's right, a manual rolling start to this race. Now, Project Cars 2 does have an automatic rolling start, but it's a bit buggy, and it causes cars to bump into each other. So, a manual rolling start that our competitors are going to be implementing this evening. There was a tutorial put out to the racers earlier on in the week for them to get to grips with this, but the question is, Jamie, have all 27 of them not only watched the video to understand it, but learn it at the same time, or are we going to see some problems here?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think that it's going to go smoothly. T-Mac's done absolutely everything he possibly could, bar going around everyone's house for dinner individually and talking them through it. We got 27 guys. We've got a great view here from the cockpit of the guy in 27th. That's what he's looking at. That's the amount of cars on the grid. Some nice little wind turbines going there. I'd like to think it's going to go smoothly because we don't want to see the race ruined by some errors at the start. We want to see a good clean start, and then we can get to the proper racing.
Yes, exactly. We want it nice and clean into that first corner. Everyone's still alive and well after this manual rolling start. So we're just waiting for all the drivers to ready up, as is the procedures in Project Cars 2. We should get a flash of the screen and the word syncing appearing very, very shortly, which gives us the notification that we are ready to go. So hopefully we're just moments away now from that happening. But here we are, ladies and gents. We're ready for the big race.
Is it worth just talking, Ryan, through this rolling start as it's going round?
We can indeed, yeah. So we're live now, ladies and gents. Here comes the syncing. So All the cars are going to slowly make their way off the line together, hopefully, all at the same time. You can see them all waiting on T-Mac almost to make them up. There we go. So the leader starts it off. He pulls across to make the signal. That is the rolling start. You can see the drivers trying to make the most of their tyres warming up. So they're going to try and go all in formation now. So not side by side. They're going to try and go 1, 2, 3 all behind each other just into these first few corners. But as you see, Jamie, the drivers are trying to make the most of it and warm their tyres up at the same time.
Yeah, so they've got most of the lap to warm their tyres up, get their car into the peak conditions that they want to do, with a max speed of 100 miles an hour, and no overtaking, obviously. There is a point on the lap, near the end of the lap, where there is a marker, and as soon as you go past that marker, you have to get into formation. So that will mean that they'll pull up 2 abreast, just like they are on the grid, 1 on either side, and the speed then is limited to 50 miles an hour. And there is no more warming of the tyres, no more weaving. So you are perfectly in line. You can be in line with the guy next to you, but not in front of them. You don't have to be staggered with the guy next to you. Then when we come round to the start-finish straight, as soon as the pole sitter passes the start-finish straight, he's going to accelerate and he's off. And then as everyone else passes, as you start to pass the start-finish straight, you can accelerate, and then the overtaking can begin. What's also important to say is the pole sitter will always get the optimum line for the first corner, so they'll get the inside line for the first corner.
Yeah,
which I think is on the left in this track, is it?
Yeah, so
well, we'll see in a minute.
Some really good racing from T-Mac to obviously get first base, and actually I think it bodes well for the rest of this race that he's actually leading this procession this evening. It was his idea. He's tried to get the tutorial out there for the guys, so actually it's quite apt that he gets the opportunity to lead the way here. But so far, Jamie, everyone seems to be okay. No thrills and spills we've seen from any cars so far, and at the moment, everyone playing ball, and we should get a nice clean start to this race.
Yeah, so here we go. You can see now we've gone past the markers, so they're lining up. We'll just get a look back slightly down the grid. They're lining up next to each other, so this is okay. So they've got to be really careful not to nudge into the back of each other. 50 miles an hour limit, and as they come round, it's up to T-Mac to control the pace. It's up to him. They can't go past him. Seb's got to be cautious. Round this final chicane, here we go. Really careful. Looks like everyone's doing well. We will jump on with the front few for the start, I think. But looks like so far it's going pretty well.
Yeah, so far it's done. Everyone's done really well there, to be fair. Don't think we've seen any hiccups. That will certainly be gone. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're off. T-Mac puts his foot down, and he is, of course, in first place from qualifying, making his way around this first bend on the left. We have got Drux, who's made a move on Seb H up into second. He managed to get the inside line on there, and that's a great manoeuvre by him early doors. We'll try and bring you a little bit of a replay of that coming on your screen shortly. But Mr. Salt also doing well, holding fourth place position there. But Drux making an early move up to second, and it's a really good start from him, Jamie.
Seems like it's gone pretty well. Mad Knife straight in the pits. I'm not sure what's happened there. I only saw one. That might have been him actually. I only saw one car being nudged out on that first corner, but generally, as we see someone going a bit wide there, generally seems like it's gone pretty well. The top 10 actually looks pretty much unchanged, apart from the odd one, but the front few, yeah, absolutely, like you said, Drux making a good time, but T-Mac retaining that lead. Of course, that's the benefit he's got as a qualifying pole. He can control that pace, and no one knows when he's going to hit that accelerator, so he can catch them by surprise. But there's a bunch packed so far, but they're all driving very sensibly to not knock into each other.
Yeah, really sensible driving from our racers this evening. Remember, it's only 35 minutes this race, so there's no opportunity for weakness around this track. You might as well put your foot down and get stuck in early doors, because if you let the leaders get away from you, there's not much time to catch up. So everyone going for it here. We have a fantastic pack at the start of the grid. Art and Benner were on board now. He's in 7th place. Just in behind Area Motorsport and Don Titor, who are in 5th and 6th respectively. Mr. Salt in 4th, with Seb just in front of them, and Drux in 2nd, with, of course, T-Mac in 1st. But you can see how close the cars are now as we're on board of Area Motorsport in cockpit view. He's just trying to bide his time, waiting for a little mistake, perhaps from Don Titor, using the slipstream well, and we look like we're going to get a pass here. So Area Motorsport doing really well after that first lap. He makes gains and is up into 5th place. Excellent driving from him. Really smooth overtake, Jamie, and he'll be really pleased with that.
Yeah, he got a better run out of that final corner, just got on the gas a bit earlier, less tyre slip, and he was away in the slipstream. That's all it takes with these straights, and that's one of the shortest straights. Just looking at the top 10, yeah, the top sort of 11, 12, even 13 guys. Well, almost all the way down. There's some super quick guys, all race winners in there. What an amazing field we've got here.
Yeah, amazing. amazing field. So it looks like Bibby now trying to make a move up the pack. He's in 8th place at the moment, just in behind Artem Benner, who of course was the Formula Rookie champion from the Sunday stream. The camera angles decided not to give us a very good view of that there, unfortunately, although trackside cam's normally very reliable. But Bibby has made the pass, and Bibby's made a pass on Artem Benner, moves himself up to 7th place, and he's going to start attacking this pack now. He's just in behind Don Tito, who has already lost a couple of places so far, and it looks like Bibby's going to try and make a move on him as he gets him right in behind, and he's going to try and slipstream him all the way and try and generate a little bit of extra pace and try and make a move on Don Tito. So at the moment, Don Tito losing a few places, but interesting from Bibby going down the outside. Is he going to little clip? No, he had to obviously go on the brakes a little bit there just to make sure there wasn't any collisions. But of these top races at the moment, it looks like Don Tito's falling behind a few of them for pace at the moment, Jamie.
Yeah, he seems to be starting to build a bit of a train behind him, doesn't he? As Bibby goes around the outside, not quite got the move done. But Ayrton Benner with a little nudge, and it's given him a penalty. And Drux as well with a 1 second penalty.
So,
Bibby and Ayrton Benner with 2 seconds each.
So yeah, the little nudges there.
Which 01, yes.
I think it's almost inevitable in these cars at the moment, isn't it? Almost inevitable.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Mad Thundercat's just asking. Mad Knife. Yeah, he made an early pit stop. We're not sure what that was for. It was right after the start, so I assume he had an issue with that. Yeah, sorry to cut you there.
That's all right, no worries. But looking at the pack, Seb H, he qualified in 2nd, but he's currently a couple of seconds off the lead at the moment. So T-Mac starting to make gains at the top of the grid. Interestingly, we saw earlier the Noob Gamers guys on a Thursday, Bob and Rob. They're still in 9th and 11th at the moment, so roughly where they qualified, so not managed to make too many gains on the pack so far, but Bob does have 2 people ahead of him with penalties on their head, so that could play into their favour. We're on board with Mr. Salt, of course, from the Thursday stream, and he's in 4th place at the moment, just in behind Seb H, and that pack at the top, Jamie, 2nd to 5th, looks really, really tasty.
Yeah. Really tight. T-Mac's just taking advantage of that battling, actually. Just got himself a little 2-second gap. He's lapping quicker than anyone else in the field, which is what you'd expect. As we see Area Motorsport with a move on Mr. Salt here around the outside.
Yes, Area Motorsport tried making the move going right, so didn't quite enough, as you said, Jamie, but plenty of time left. 27 minutes still on the clock, so we've not even had 10 minutes of this race yet. Seb H and Drux, though, do have penalties, remember, only a couple of seconds, I believe. So it might give the advantage to Mr. Salt and Area Motorsport 2. They can keep him behind these guys for the majority of the race. It could bump them up the places, but of course this isn't a championship race. This is just a one-off special. So they're going to probably want to just finish ahead of them regardless of the penalties, because of course it's not meaning a lot. But Area Motorsport making a fantastic move on Mr. Salt there to get himself up into 4th place, using the inside line really well. Is Mr. Salt going to attack back round this corner as he gets the inside line too? Yes, he is. So again, Mr. Salt showing his defensive prowess and grabbing 4th place back, Jamie.
Oh, fantastic sequence of corners there for both of them. First there in Motorsport with an amazing late break there. Mr. Salt did so well to see him come in and leave him just enough space, but didn't lose his head, kept his cool in the very next corner, got the run and took the place straight back. 2 great overtakes and 2 great pieces of examples of fair driving.
Right, we're going to get a replay of those moves coming up on your screen shortly, but that was, of course, some fantastic
Got
driving.
it again here.
But Area Motorsport attacking again, and he's going to have a fantastic line into this corner as well, and it looks like he's done Mr. Salt again, so he's up into 4th place at the moment, but Mr. Salt, of course, is not going to let that lie, and I'm sure he's going to try and attack back where he can, but as you said earlier, Jamie, all these battles up and down the grid behind T-Mac is giving him the opportunity to lengthen out this lead, so he's got a 2-second lead on Drux at the moment.
Yeah, he has. Seb H and Drux are having their own little battle now. This pack is split into 2 individual battles here with Salty and an Area and Drux and Seb H. Ayrton Benner seems to be in a pretty lonely 6th place. He sort of got his own little world in. Bob making some great moves though. He's overtaken Higgs Boson, he's overtaken Bibby, he's up into 7th, so he's coming.
Yeah, Bob is making gains, of course. Hey, we've given him a lot of stick on this channel about the Sunday stream quality, but he's slowly making his way up the pack. Still got 25 minutes to go, which is called plenty of time. So Bibby just in behind him as well, who we know is an excellent racer. He has a small penalty on his head at the moment, but he's going to cause Bob problems around the back. If Bob makes a mistake here, Bibby will, of course, lap that up. But both of them are pushing hard to catch Ayrton Benner, who in himself is a fantastic fast racer. So the quality of competitors up and down this grid at the moment, as Bob pulls aside there, it would seem, So Bob pulls aside for Bibby there. I wonder whether you know, a little bit of communication between them made that seem too easy. Yeah, it might have been a slowdown penalty perhaps, but that was a little bit too easy there. But 24 minutes to go, T-Mac leading the race, but you can just see how packed this grid is full of cars. Still plenty of action, I'm sure, to come.
Yeah, and it's interesting actually, now that trucks and Seb have pulled away from 4th and 5th a little bit, they are lapping, you know, almost identical pace to T-Mac. And he's stretched that lead to 2.5 to 3 seconds now, but he's not pulling away at an unbelievable pace that makes you think that he's got this one already. This is a great battle though between these two. Bob coming straight back, so I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like he definitely slowed down unnaturally, didn't it?
Yeah,
definitely easy pass for Bibby. But he's straight back on the back of it. And Mrs. Salt as well, looks like he's settled in now behind Area Motorsport after that great sequence of overtakes and re-overtakes. Should we have a look a bit further down the pack?
Let's have a look. But you know, while we've been speaking though, Jamie, it looks like almost the whole of the top 6, with the exception of T-Mac, have also picked up some penalties. So
yeah,
obviously a little bit of argy-bargy. We've got 1s, 3s and 2s knocking around at the moment, so nothing too drastic. But we will of course keep up to date with them towards the back end of the race to see how they're going to affect things. But we're on board with a new racer to the stream in its entirety, and that is S1R, or Sir, we shall call him. He's in 11th place at the moment, so a pretty healthy debut from him. We're told he's a decent racer. He's knocking on the door of Higgs Boson to try and get himself into the top 10. You can see here though, Jamie, you know, we were discussing before the race that there's a lot of variation in these GT4 cars, and you can see already, you know, the difference in just the look of them, but also we've been told that they all drive a little bit different too.
Yeah, most people have gone for the Porsche, which we understand is generally seems to be the quickest car, but not quite as agile in the corners. There's a couple of Aston Martins knocking about, but it's nice to have a field where there's a lot of choice and there's strengths and weaknesses of each car, and some will suit some drivers and some others. You know, recently we've seen, especially in the touring cars, every single person goes for the same one because it's clearly the better car. So it's nice to give that variation a bit more tactical element to it.
Yeah, for sure. We were talking with a lot of the racers before the game, and they said, you know, hey, you've got to try all these GT4s cars. As Higgs Boson nearly takes a spin, so yeah, you've got to try all the GT4s, see what suits your driving style, because there is so much variation, and some cars play into the hands of other racers. And we've seen that, you know, you can look up and down this grid, and we have a whole mix of cars. Obviously, as Jamie said, on the whole, you know, the majority is lean towards the Porsche, but we all do have some good variables in the car that they're driving this evening. But we're jumping on board towards the top of the grid. We're in the cockpit of Mr. Salt. He's still pushing Area Motorsport. Those two have been having a great battle so far, and they're still less than a second splitting them, so still plenty of time for something to happen there.
Yeah, 2nd and 3rd are having a great battle, and 4th and 5th as well. And they're all, you know, even down to 5th, it's only 5 to 6 seconds off the lead still. T-Mac's lead's come down again a bit. Drux is really there with him on pace, as is Seb H. These guys are in the 139s. Bibby as well, and Mr. Salt in the 139s. So it's really going well. Bob just looks like he's backed off a bit from Bibby. So he's settled in for 7th at the moment. But there's some fascinating battles. Let's nip down to 15th with Dr. Gaza, another new racer to the stream. He's pushing on Legionary, another new racer to the stream.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few new races, you know, which is fantastic to see, getting involved in the one-off specials that, of course, T-Mac organises on a Sunday before the start of next week's league season, the multi-class. But just looking on the chat, you know, there's some shout-outs for Sir. Captain Callie says he's a very good racer. Crichton Alpha says he agrees. He raced with Sir several times. He's very fast in the Clios apparently. So, you know, really good racer by all accounts, Sir. But, you know, only in 10th place at the moment, which just shows the strength of the races we have this evening. But we're on board with Berserker. He's in 13th place. Again, but up and down this pack, you can see those split times. You know, Berserker in 13th, but he's got less than a second either side of him, which is fantastic for the competitors this evening, because wherever you are on the grid, it looks like you've got a race on your hands, Jamie.
Yeah, and as Johnny OneNote points out in the chat, what has happened to Ayrton Bennett? And the man does seem, in fact, like he's disappeared. So whether that's a disconnect or he's quit the race for whatever reason, but he's not showing in my standings at all now. So That's a real shame because we know how quick he can be.
Yeah, I'm just looking on the Steam chat now to see if there's been any messages from him, but it doesn't look like there's anything posted, so we'll have to assume there's some technical issues there with Artem Benner, and unfortunately he's dropped out of the race. But what that does do is, of course, give other people the opportunity to gain a place in the leaderboard and push higher. But we're on board with Rob, who's just inside the top 10 in 9th place at the moment. He's got Sir pushing him just in behind, although that gap is quite large at the moment, so it looks like Rob is only looking forwards rather than looking behind him. He's less than a second away from Don Tito, who's dropped all the way down to 8th now. You can see, he qualified really high earlier on, but just slowly started to fall down the pack, and it's Rob's turn to see if he can attack him now, or can Don Tito hold him off potentially. But as we've said many times already this evening, we've got races up and down the whole grid, so we're going to try and bring you every single race as it happens between the various different cars. But with so much going on, we might miss a trick or two, but we'll do our best, won't we, my friend Jamie? As Drux is pushing hard on Seb H. He isn't going to have the right line into this corner at the moment, but clearly he's caught him up really, really well, although he's going to make a move down the outside, and it looks like he has. So Drux with a move down the outside on Seb H, and that is some unbelievable driving. We're going to have to bring you a replay of that, but Area Motorsport also pushing, so Area Motorsport's trying to make a move as well. He's just in behind, and looks like Seb H is going to gain it back from this inside corner, and no, he doesn't quite. So we're going to try and bring you a replay of that initial move from Drux, but that was some excellent driving, Jamie, and it looks like Seb H might be down to 4th in this round with Area Motorsport pushing hard.
Absolute chaos. Seb H was, Drux was solid second for a long time, and Seb H gets the run around the outside of an area. Drux was in second, but as we flicked back, Seb H had made the move. We missed that first move. He made it stick. He got into second, but Drux pushed him back, got the place back, and as they were busy fighting, that gave Area Motorsport the chance, and Mr. Salt, who's not far behind here. Yeah, Area Motorsport the chance to catch up, and now Seb is having to defend like mad from Area Motorsport. So really opportunistic driving from him. Fantastic work from Drux and Seb. What a battle this top 4 or 5 is. It's going to be so hard to get on that podium with T-Mac at the moment.
Yeah, really hard. I mean, T-Mac is slowly running away with this race, but the race is certainly on for 2nd and 3rd.
Oh, lovely.
As Mr. Salt goes on the inside of Area Motorsport, and it looks like Area Motorsport must have some sort of slowdown, because he's given up place to Bibby, who's now up to 5th place. So unfortunately, some sort of driving error has cost him there. But as Bob Hunt makes a move on him down the inside, he's trying to attack this pack now. So we have an amazing race on our hand for 2nd place at the moment, with 5 racers all gunning for it, Jamie. And this is going to be fantastic last 17 minutes of this race.
I mean, Area Motorsport's gone from pushing for 2nd place to half a lap later being down in 7th. Although, what a late braking move on Bob. Unbelievably, that must have taken Bob by surprise. How late he braked into that corner there. Yeah, he must have got a slowdown penalty, because all of a sudden he was dropping down the pack. But we can tell, clearly, he's got the pace. So I imagine he'll be straight back on the back of Bibby. Mr. Salt, again, just staying calm, staying consistent. He's got himself up to 4th, letting other people have the battles, letting other people run wide. And yeah, as Johnny One knows says, T-Mac now, with all these fights going on, they're not able to set consistent, clean laps. So he's out there on his own. We should probably have a little look at him, to be fair, give him a bit of love on the stream. He's doing a great job. He's just able to take those corners just as he wants, hit the braking points, make the clean laps. And yeah, 6.5 seconds already. I mean, unless there's a big issue, you can't see anyone capturing that.
So we're on board back with this amazing race for 2nd place. Everyone seems to be going for it at the moment. The top from 2 to 6 all have an opportunity here. So we're going to try and watch all 5 or 6 cars at the same time, which might be difficult. But yeah, it looks like we've got a back marker in the way at the moment. So Seb H just in behind Drux, also trying to navigate this back marker, and the back marker doesn't look like he's getting out of the way. He's putting right across on Seb H at the moment. And nearly got in the way of both of the cars, but now that he's moved out the way and let Drux and Seb H pass. But that slowed them both up, and you can see Mr. Salt now right in behind them, and with Bibby just behind him as well. So it gives Mr. Salt the opportunity to attack these pack of cars, and he might try and make a move here on this corner. Is he going to slingshot round on the inside? Not quite, didn't quite have the pace there, but we're going to try and watch all 5 cars at the same time here, which might prove quite difficult with all the various cameras we have available to us, but at the same time, there's so much action here, we just got to try and keep up with it all, Jamie.
Yeah, these guys are so evenly matched on pace, and that back mark, that was crazy. He was right on the racing line there. He really held Drux up. Drux did so well to keep that place there. I imagine Area Motorsport will be setting some great times and getting right back on this pack. So before long, I think we're going to have 5 guys racing super close for second and third to get on that podium. As we can see, all this fighting, all that's done is T-Mac's lead shot up to almost 8 seconds.
Yeah, I think unless there's some major mistakes happening up front with T-Mac, it looks like he might just drive away with this race. But, I mean, the race is on so hot for second place. And we've seen some fantastic driving. And the big thing for me is it's been so clean at the moment as well. Some excellent competitive action we're seeing from these top 6 cars. And at the moment, Jamie, I really can't put my finger on who I think is going to come out on top. Can you?
I think Drux he's driving a great race out there. He's held second for almost the whole race. He can't pull a gap away, but he's been clean and consistent. But Seb H, we know, is a great racer. Just a shout for Don Titor as well. You mentioned him a few times dropping back. He's actually gained a place back. He's back up to 7th at the expense of Bob, who is right in behind him. But some good racing from Don Titor there to recover that stake.
Yeah, so we jumped on board with Bob. You know, he was up into 7th, but Don Titor's finally starting to show his pace in this race now. You know, he qualified so well, but hasn't managed to keep with the front pack. But Bob is going to attack him here, but some excellent defensive driving from Don Titor, but Bob's still going to attack. We've seen him move down the outside in this corner before. We're not going to see it again this time, so Bob just biding his time at the moment. The chicanes, of course, is what we mentioned earlier on, are opportunities to attack, and Bob's got the pace out of that corner on him, so we're going to see a move here from Bob. But can he position himself well for this next corner to make sure he holds on to this place? It looks like it's a great move from Don Titor to hold on to it. Slightly later on the brakes, manages to get the inside line and foils Bob for 7th place. So as well as the race for 2nd place, Jamie, we've got an amazing battle on our hands for 7th as well.
We have, and sorry we've missed that. We've missed that. Drux has dropped back and Seb H is up into 2nd. And Mr. Soul is taking the 4th back from Bibby. These places are all over the place. Area Motorsport here catching up with the guys as well. And Bibby making another move on Mr. Soul here as he comes up the outside. Oh, this is going to be they're going some crazy speeds at this. Who's going to brake latest? Mr. Soul into the chicane, and Bibby has to yield. There's some great racing, and like I said, these places are swapping back and forth like absolute mad.
Yeah, I mean, as we've said many times already, we're trying to keep on board with all the action. These races are so close. We're hard pushed to try and bring you everything. And as we haven't mentioned yet, of course, Jamie, and we've got some accelerated time on the race this evening. We can see the lights of the cars on now as the night starts to creep in, which will, of course, give the racers here this evening another headache to think about. We're in the cockpit with Bibby, who's just in behind Mr. Salt. And at the moment, I wonder how much these penalties are actually going to play into the final standings, because these cars are so close that, you know, with all of them having various penalties between 1 second and 3 seconds, it could actually make the difference, which is absolutely crazy. But Drux in 3rd place at the moment, pushing on Seb H. We've got Area Motorsport in 6th place, pushing on 5th place. We've got all action here this evening, and what a fantastic race this has turned out to be so far.
Yeah, I think when we get into the last sort of 5 minutes, we're going to have a real good look at those penalties, because like you say, you know, they were only 1 or 2 seconds, but these guys are all within 1 or 2 seconds. So that, you know, the finishing, crossing the line order could actually end up being completely different to the actual final race order. T-Mac with a 10-second lead now. Yeah, he's just out there setting consistent 139s. It'd be interesting to see now now that Seb H has got 2nd place, he's cleared Drux. First of all, can he keep the place, which it seems like he's doing at the moment? But secondly, can he pull away? Because Drux held the place for a long time, but he wasn't able to pull away. So can Seb H just put those lap times in that and get a bit of breathing space to secure 2nd?
Yeah, the opportunity's there for Seb H, and you can see the last lap times at the moment. Seb's joining T-Mac in the 139 club, just slightly faster than all these races. You can see the drop-off from Area Motorsport that he had with that slowdown penalty we saw earlier on. He only had a 144 on that last lap, which cost him a few places. But Bibby's still up there, Mr. Salt's still up there, we've got Drux still attacking, excuse me, Area Motorsport, of course. You know, some really fast races here. They've all got the ability in their lockers, but it is Seb H who's slowly starting to pull away from that pack now. So these racers are almost going to have to work together a little bit to try and catch up Seb here. Otherwise, you could see him pulling away, Jamie.
Yeah, it was as we suspected, as we just talked about, wasn't it? We know that Seb from last week's race is a super quick and consistent driver. And now he's got himself in front. He is extending that advantage a bit over Drux. perhaps he just has a slight raw speed advantage on trucks. But yeah, like Johnny One Note points out, Bibby has been right on Mr. Salt's for several laps now, right on his tail, so close, almost nudging him round the corners in the chicanes. And what that's let happen is Area Motorsport, who's annoyingly driving the exact same car as Bibby in front, just to confuse us. These three are look how close these are. Unbelievable.
So close.
Look at Bibby here. Look how close he is. He's basically pushing him along the track.
Yes, I mean, we've seen Mr. Salt in this position a few times. You know, we've actually these two racers going at it like this a few times. Of course, if you're a regular to the stream, we had a Thursday night special race where Mr. Salt basically held off Bibby for what felt like an absolute age. And these two going at it again. So Bibby's been in this position before with Mr. Salt. He knows he's a good defensive driver. In actual fact, you know, when it comes down to it, Bibby's actually slightly faster, but Mr. Salt, his defensive driving is excellent and just knows where to be at the right time. So some excellent driving all round. While we were speaking there, we've got a brand new follower on the channel. Mester Optic has dropped us a lovely little follow this evening. Of course, we appreciate all follows, or whether you're chatting in the stream or whether you're just sat watching at home, however you're contributing to the channel this evening, we really, really appreciate your support. So absolutely loving your work there, Mester Optic. And a quick question in the chat from Sus246. He says, can I sign up somewhere? Best thing to do, Sus, I'll put it in the chat now, and that is to head over to the noobgamers.com website, which recently launched last week. All the information there on upcoming races are there, and you can join the Discord channel, which is the best place to get involved with all the action. But Mr. Salt going really hard at Drux here for third place, but not quite having enough in the locker at the moment. But it is all kicking off, Jamie, and this is such a thrilling contest.
Yeah, just I didn't want to cut into you there, but it looked like he was about to take that final podium spot off Drux, who now that he's given up second, has dropped back off set by just a second or so. But it's given Mr. Salt and Bibby the opportunity. And here comes Bibby on the outside of Mr. Salt, and Mr. Salt's brake really early, and Bibby's through. He's up into fourth position.
And we've got a back
really early braking.
Back marker pulling out the way.
That is how you get out of the way. That is there, isn't it? Right off the track.
I wonder whether that was late braking. It seemed really, really early braking from Mr. Salt. It almost
that's what I meant. That's
yeah,
what I meant.
Almost started feeling like a you know, some sort of slowdown penalty. It was so easy with Bibby, but clearly not. You know, Mr. Salt's still on the coattails. But again, Bibby attacking now. So we've got a back marker in the way. He's going to have to move out the way. They've had all sorts of fun, that back marker, from the look of their car here this evening. But Bibby trying to make a move on Drux as Mr. Salt tries to make a move on Bibby. And as I say that, Sus246 has dropped us a follow as well this evening. So really appreciate your support here, getting involved in this race.
He's through.
And Bibby is through. So Bibby's up to third place, although there's a little bit of a nudge there, but holds on really well. We will bring you a replay of that to your screen soon. But wow, it's Bibby up into third place, but Seb at the moment is pulling away, so the race isn't quite on for second at the moment, but the last podium place looks like it's going to go down to the wire. And we've got all sorts of a smash. Whoa, we've got all sorts of a smash. Wow, a few races have been taken out. It looks like Drux and Bibby, I think, had the spin. We're going to try and bring you a replay of that on your screens now, but it looks like, Jamie, Bibby just had a spin and took everyone else with it.
It did, and these three were so close. It's absolute chaos. Area Motorsport has managed to capitalise on this. He's getting himself up to fifth. He's pushing for fourth now with Drux. Bibby's managed somehow to retain third, but they've dropped a full 10 seconds back from Seb H. And that's brought everyone else into play. Yeah, absolute madness here. I think Bibby had the spin, and like you say, they raced so close. As we see Don Tito just plowing through the barriers, he doesn't care. They were so close to each other on the track that it's just that little movement. Neither of them could avoid it, and it was a three-way sandwich there. They all seem to be undamaged, largely, but oh god, and actually they. Apart from, well, barring Area Motorsport, they've sort of joined in their places they were in anyway. But it has given Area the chance to get back in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, we saw some incredible scenes there, and annoyingly, because we were in the middle of another replay, we couldn't get another replay going. So much action here this evening. We've just had a message from Artem Benner on the chat, who says, unfortunately, he was getting some crazy lag on the race this evening, which is the reason for him dropping out this evening. So massive shame because you can imagine what a driver like chucking Art and Benner into the mix of this pack we've got at the moment.
You'd have been loving this.
We'd have been absolutely loving this season, but hopefully you can watch on and not feel too bad as you can just sit back. But again, it looks like that was Area Motorsport this time, and he's taken a massive spin at the back, and he's dropped right off the pack now. So he did so well, Area Motorsport, to catch up, but unfortunately that little spin looks like he's going to cost him. But Drux has gone down the outside as well. And Drux has made a move back up to third. So again, just as I get a replay going for Area Motorsport spinning in the background, we're missing stuff at the front as well. So just so much action here this evening, and still 5 minutes to go. So it is all go, go, go here this evening. Yes, Sus 246, this is with default settings this evening. And Jamie, some amazing racing so far.
Yeah, I mean, I have to keep apologising for cutting over you, but there's just so much going on. And it's all at the really high end. All the battles, almost, in the whole field are at the front for this second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. It's absolutely crazy. Drux was second, then Seb H was second. Now he looks like he's got that sorted with that 10-second gap with that crash. But now Drux is taken back third from Bibby, who did have it. Mr. Salt's dropped back off a bit. Area Motorsport's now dropped back below Don Titor. He looks like he's dropping out of the order completely, which has let Bob up to 7th. Bibby's making a move back to 3rd here, but you can see how dark it is now. The full lights are on. It's pitch black now. Oh, and a little snudge from Drux.
Oh,
too wide.
Whoa! Bibby has to really take some maneuver.
Very strong defender.
Yeah, Drux had a little bit of a swerve there, and I think Bibby was going to try and attack the line, but Drux realised what was happening and pulled across, and that's cost Bibby and allows Mr. Salt to come up into 4th place. But Area Motorsport has dropped all the way down to 8th because of that spin towards the back end of that pack we saw now. So the race for 2nd, 3rd and 4th is now just between the people on our screen now. Bibby just in behind in 5th place, who of course we saw fell foul to that defensive manoeuvre that Drux tried to put on him there, knocking him back a few places. But Mr. Salt up into 4th, and once again Bibby finds himself towards the back end of Mr. Salt, and he will know that is going to be a hard battle to get past once again.
He must be sick of the sight of the rear end of that Porsche. He can't believe it. It's been stuck there. He's overtaken him twice. He's ended up back there, and that was through no fault of his own. Drux going wide. Bibby seeing the opportunity to grab that 3rd place back, but Drux with some very, let's call it, hard defending.
Aggressive defending, we'll say.
Aggressive defending, which looked probably fair enough, just about. Kept that place after his mistake. And Bibby's really, unfortunately, yeah, what a shame for Ayrton Bennett. With the speed he's got, he would have been right in the mix here. So it would have been fascinating. Actually, just as we say that, Seb H is now shown as 21 seconds on T-Mac, with Drux only 2 seconds behind. So, yeah, it looks like that's the case. So he must have had an incident as well that's cost him about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think Drux has also, of course, got the advantage now of not having anyone around him. So he's got a little bit of an open road, although he takes a little bit of a spin there again, a little bit of a slide to the left as he goes around that corner. But Drux has now got an opportunity. He's shaking off people behind him. He's got an opportunity to try and catch Seb H. But as you said, Jamie, Seb H has got back markers to contend with, and they seem to be slowing him down just a little bit.
Wow. Although he had a 10-second buffer. Something's happened. He's had a spin somewhere.
Something has happened.
Shall we have a look at these penalties, Ryan?
So,
it's worth having a look.
3s for Seb H and Drux. Mr. Salt only a 2. Bibby at a 5 though, so he's going to need to do some gains. Apologies as I just itch my face at the same time. Apologies if you're watching this on the stream. Horrendous scenes. But yeah, so a few penalties going on back and forth there. As we enter the last couple of minutes of this race, so Bibby of course got 5 seconds. Mr. Salt only a 2. So as it stands, Mr. Salt in 4th place has actually got a lot more breathing space than what it actually looks like. It's only a 3 seconds for Seb and Drux, so Mr. Salt not quite close enough to capitalise on that. So he's just got to maintain the position he's in at the moment and not let Bibby get too far in ahead. I think 4th place will be his. Seb H and Drux though still going at it, and the time between those two is certainly getting closer. So could we see some fireworks in the last minute of this race between those two as well? But it looks like Bibby's going to attack. He knows he's got to get past Mr. Salt, and he knows he's got to get a couple of seconds ahead of him as well. So he's going to chuck everything into this last few corners to see if he can do that. But Bibby attacking Mr. Salt, and as we pointed out plenty of times before, he's been in this position behind Mr. Salt plenty of times before.
Yeah, and so at the moment, actually, all the penalties, they seem to be working out that they're not going to change anything. just with the way that the guys are set up. But Bob here pushing for a last-minute go. He's been battling with Don Tito all race. These two have been going at it back and forth. They've been having a great race. Don Tito just got the inside line there, but Bob's got the cutback. Can he get the speed? He's going around the outside. Can he maintain that speed? Very fair from Don Tito. He's given him the space. He probably didn't have to give him that much space there. And Bob's got the move done. But will Don Tito let him? And he's a really late braking. Again, unbelievably late into the first corner. Just about keeps it on the apex, but Bob's back through again with the cutback. This is absolutely unbelievable. He's desperate for that 6th place. And there's 2 seconds left. Are they going to cross the line? They've got to do another lap.
Got to do another lap. So there's another lap for the battle here between Bob and Don Tito. And we should be getting a replay of some of that.
Still, and here comes Bibby.
Bibby's attacking Mr. Salt as well, but Bibby, of course, has got a 3-second differential in terms of penalties on Mr. Salt. So at the moment, even if he finishes just a second ahead of him, Mr. Salt will still finish in 4th. But the pride of becoming ahead of him in the track rather than penalties is driving Bibby on as he tries to make a move on Mr. Salt here. But Mr. Salt, again, with some fantastic defensive driving, just holds the line where he needs to be, brakes when he needs to, and holds Bibby off for the time being. But in this last lap, Bibby is going to go hell for leather. And as we said earlier, we're on board with Drux again now. He's been slowly pulling Seb H in. It looks like Seb H might just have enough of room to keep that 2nd place position at the moment. They do, of course, have the exact same penalty, so if Drux is going to want to finish in 2nd place, he has to overtake him. But we're on board with Bibby again, who is attacking the back of Mr. Salt like anything I've ever seen. But Mr. Salt just holding him off all the way to the end of this race. And it's some fantastic driving. But look how close they are, Jamie, and it's amazing to see.
Yeah, it's been like this throughout the whole race. Bibby, I do feel sorry for him because he was right up there with Drux fighting for that 3rd position. Unfortunately for him, through no fault of his own, he got knocked back. It gave Mr. Salt the opportunity to take that place back, but fair play to Tolty.
Oh, and as they go over
is he going to get him right on the line?
Ooh, they're almost level, but of course the penalties will, excuse me, keep Mr. Salt in 4th place regardless of what happened there. Don Tito have finally given up the ghost on Bob as Bob takes the line in 6th place. It's Don Tito in 7th. Area Motorsport is some way back in 8th place with a back marker going wildly off the track in front of him. Because of all the action at the top of the grid, it really hasn't left us much time to speak about people below. But Roy Klops, who again, we've seen him win races on this stream before, he's in 9th place. Without penalties as well, so a really clean race from him all the way. Berserker, decent racer in 10th. We've got Legionary coming in 11th. New racer to the stream, Sir in 12th. So still some good races crossing the line, but some excellent racing all round there, Jamie.
Yeah, actually, Roy Klopp's nipping up to 8th with Area Motorsport's penalty. It looks like no one else changed position though in the top 8 due to penalties, which is good to see because you know. You don't want that to be the case. So yeah, everything on the track counted.
Exactly.
What a race.
What a race indeed. And as Vertigo says, lots of cars looking a bit battered. And here's the final standing. So Seb takes first, T-Mac takes first, Seb second, and Drux third. Let's have a quick look down the pack to see how they got on. So Artem Benno, of course, retired early. Langalang, Cali Madknife towards the back of the pack. But as we go back to the top of the grid, T-Mac first, Seb H second, Drux third, Mr. Salt fourth, Bibby in fifth, is Bob Humbin sixth, Don Tito seventh, Roy Klops eighth, Area Motorsport ninth, and Berserker in 10th. Let's head back to the studio and get our breath back. Woo! Unbelievable scenes here in the Noob Gamer studio. Another fantastic Sunday stream, with the exception of the issues we had with the stream starting late, Jamie. What a race we've just taken part in.
Yeah, well, I am just so glad that we managed to finally get it working in the end, because it was absolutely worth it. Yeah, an unbelievable race. Yeah, I do apologise. There were so many runners today. I would have loved to be able to talk about all of them, but it's a relatively short race, and there was so much action up the front. Unbelievable racing with the top 5 or 6, barring T-Mac, of course, who was so far ahead. I noticed you even forgot him then when you were reading out the results. Yeah. He was so far out. Yeah, just so much great overtaking. We saw cutbacks, we saw pushes, we saw great defensive driving, we saw streamlining on the straights. Yeah, what a race. I really enjoyed it.
What a race indeed. And don't forget, don't leave us just yet. We will be bringing you some post-race reaction from the drivers. Just looking at some of the comments, and lots of people enjoying the race and the stream this evening. Thank you for sticking with us for that race. It was fantastic scenes all round. But yeah, don't leave us just yet. We're going to see who's sticking around and get some reaction from our racers. We head over to our interview corner and try and have a word with some of our racers. Whoa, so here we are in our interview booth. We're going to try and get some reaction from some of our racers this evening. We're going to jump into the general stream here on Stream Chat, and we have T-Mac and Mr. Salt lined up to have a little chat with us this evening. So we're going to head over to that general pool now and grab a word with the race winner T-Mac and Mr. Salt, who finished in 4th place. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening.
Wow, that was a fantastic race. Now, T-Mac, of course, you wouldn't have seen that because you won by quite some distance. But in behind you, we're going to start with you, Mr. Salt, because what a race for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place we had there.
Yeah, it was like properly good racing, really clean. I think there's a couple of coming togethers, but nothing too major. That was a lot of fun, honestly, like for the best part of... I don't know, whatever the race was, 35 minutes. It felt like it was all close racing. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, some unbelievable overtakes. Those 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th were swapping positions just basically for the entire 35 minutes. The only actual little incident was, I think, Bibby just spun on his own slightly, and you and was it Trucks? Yeah, was so close to him because he was so close in racing that you just couldn't get out of the way. But you all seem to be able to carry on and retain pretty much the same positions, actually.
We got damage. I think both me and Bibby had 23 aero damage, slightly damaged on the suspension as well. But we were able to keep going, thankfully. Also, Area Motorsport, he lost it on the last corner, or slightly started to lose it, and I nudged him then, and apologies to him, but I did sort of send him on his way slightly. But yeah, it was one of those things.
But of course, we can't forget, although there was some fantastic racing from 2 to 6, T-Mac, unbelievable scenes from you to get such a lead over, we were talking about the type of races and the level of the races we had here this evening, up and down the grid, some really, really fast guys, and yet you pulled away for the race and almost made it look easy. How did that feel?
Oh, that was a good one. Like, I was a little bit annoyed about the rookie championships. I wanted to have a good one tonight. And then I got a little bit lucky in terms of when those guys started to battle, I could just pull away. But I also kind of knew that I had a little bit of pace in my pocket, so I could take it a little bit easier and not risk it. Because I was just saying to Salty, I only had one little moment the whole race, so it was a really consistent race for me. So yeah, very happy.
Yeah, and you've got to be happy with how the start went. It seemed to work after all the hours you spent trying to get everyone up to speed. It seemed to work pretty smoothly.
That is amazing to hear. Like, even a couple of hours ago, we were still having people who were getting their numbers wrong and lining up on the wrong side of the grid and massive gaps. But that's awesome to hear, because obviously we got the multi-class next week, which people need to be switched on for. But that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, it was really, really good start, to be fair. Nice and clean, which is great. But overall, I mean, those cars, the GT4, so many variables between them, which meant lots of people had different driving styles able to come in. And overall, the track lent itself so well to those cars as well. And every single minute we seem to have action up and down the grid, which is just amazing to see.
Yeah, no, I think me and Salty, I think you would agree that, because this is really our first time driving them, it was more on the request of Drux, who loves the GT4s, and yeah, we've really enjoyed them. So I imagine a league will be in the near future.
Yep, that'd be good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and congratulations, T-Mac. Great race again.
Thank you very much, guys. Look forward to watching the stream.
Yeah, definitely one to watch back. Thank you for joining us. We'll hop back and leave you guys to dissect that one. But yeah, thanks for joining us.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cheers.
So that was T-Mac and Mr. Salt giving their reaction to the race. We're going to jump slightly further down the pack now as we head over to not the stream chat. We're going to head over to the Discord channel now, and hopefully on the Discord channel there's a couple of other racers lined up to speak to us as well. So we're going to have a little look over there, and we've got Bob on the line, who of course is a regular racer with us on the Thursday stream. He's tried his hand at Sunday racing this evening and fared pretty well in 6th place. Bob, how did you find that, my friend?
It was interesting. I had no pace whatsoever. I was definitely under practiced. So yeah, I wasn't quite at the top of my game, but had some great battles. Not sure if you saw any of them, but yeah, some good battles going up through the field. So yeah, I was relatively happy. I like to be further forward. Can't give T-Mac that much time and room, can we? We need to get involved a bit more. But yeah, it was all right. It was good fun.
Yeah, no, we caught a few battles. It looked like you and Don Tito were having a sort of running battle through the whole race.
Yeah, it was nice and clean as well, so enjoyed that one. Yeah,
but are you happy with your finishing position in the end?
Not really. I don't like it if I'm not up the front. But I practiced a couple of weeks ago when it was announced, and this week it's just I haven't really had the chance. And with Thursday nights, I don't think I've been on since then, actually, until this afternoon. But yeah, I mean, I've done some practice. It just didn't really click.
Yeah, but I mean, hey, a good introduction to Sunday racing, and I understand you'll be in the multi-class league, is that right?
Yes, that is more my cup of tea.
More your cup of tea, so you'll be looking to push hard in that race to make
yes.
what happened this evening.
I should be back in my usual position at that point. So
okay.
I'll be back you'll see me back towards the front on that one.
Well done, Bob. I don't like hearing you so down in the dumps. So hopefully you're cheered up next race. I thought you raced very well.
Well, the wife said she'd leave me if I didn't come top 5. So I'm looking for a place to live.
She texted me something similar, actually.
Bet she did.
But yeah, well done. Yeah. Good scenes. We did see some really good battles between you and Don Tito were going at it round quite a few corners. So good battles, good racing, and I'm sure you'll come back stronger.
Yeah, can't wait to have another go.
Indeed. So we're going to jump back and leave you to chill out after that race. We'll jump back in the admin channel, and I'm sure we'll catch up with you again on Thursday.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Bob. Well done.
Bye.
So there we go. That was some post-race reaction with a few of our racers this evening. Let's head back to the studio and finalise the stream, of course. So we're in the studio. We've heard from T-Mac, who ran away with proceedings this evening and demolished the pack to take the race in this one-off GT4 Zolder special. We also heard from Mr. Salt with a very respectable 4th place, who was fighting amongst that pack of cars at the top for the top 2 and 3 places, but wasn't quite able to capitalise, but still he'll be happy with 4th place. And finally we heard from Bob, new to Sunday streaming, getting involved in the Sunday races, still 6th place, nothing to be sniffed at all, but you could hear it in his voice. I think he's got more to come, and I'm sure he'll come back stronger with the future races. But Jamie, a great racing evening overall.
It was, and barring the technical issues with Twitch, thanks for that. You really enjoy it. Actually, I really like those cars, and I really like that track. It's nice and wide. There were 3 abreast at a lot of times. It gives you the opportunity for so many overtakes and so much action. I hope we get to go there again on our travels.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Well, you heard a little bit of a teaser there from Mr. Salt and T-Mac clearly talking about the GT4s, and I'm sure we'll be revisiting those cars in the future, but also hopefully that track, because the track itself certainly gives loads of opportunity for overtakes and also lots of opportunity for some thrills and some spills. But really appreciate all the support you guys have given us at home here this evening, sticking with us for what was a fantastic race. We had a couple of new follows, a couple of new people in the chat. Fantastic all round. And of course, if you are new to the stream, we stream every single Thursday night and every single Sunday night at 8 p.m. Please visit the noobgamers.com website, where you will find the racing schedule coming up, links to all our social media, and of course the all-important Discord channel, and of course the Steam chat channel as well, so you can get involved with that. But Jamie, one last thing to do on a Sunday, it would not be a Sunday stream without a cheeky little raid.
Let's do it. Absolutely. What you got in for us tonight?
Well, this evening, Jamie, I'm just looking up and down on my list. I'm following a guy called Matt. I'm just going to see how his stream's knocking on this evening. He's playing a game with which a lot of people seem to be playing at the moment, and that is Sea of Thieves. So we're going to jump on board with some Sea of Thieves action this evening. Not quite sure Matt's ready for us, unfortunately. Doesn't look like he's particularly ready to take on some people. Just looking at his stream very briefly, but Sea of Thieves is a game that I've been sort of looking at up and down, pretty interesting game overall. So we're going to jump on board with the Sea of Thieves streamer this evening. I'm just going to pick one out of the random pot of streamers that we have here. Hopefully someone gives us some good views. So not much choice in this evening, so we're just going to jump straight on in with one. But while I find someone, Jamie, do you want to just give the listeners and the watchers a little guide as to what we should expect from a raid?
Okay, yeah, so from a raid, you've pretty much summed it up there. We're going to jump on board with someone else's stream and try and share the love, share the people we got watching on this stream, hopefully open your horizons to some other games. Sea of Thieves, if I'm right in thinking, is a bit like a survival game, is that right? But I'm guessing like pirate themed. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right, to be fair. Does sound about right indeed. I'm just going to see if we've got a bit of sound on this stream going on, have we? So, I mean, we've not actually featured many female streamers on the stream before, so, time for one this evening. Diversity indeed. So we're going to jump on board with a new streamer to the channel. We've not raided them before, but hopefully they'll give us a little bit of action and talk us through the game this evening. So the raid is set up once again. Thank you for joining us here on the Noob Gamers live stream for what was an amazing race. You can watch it back shortly after this broadcast is over, live on Twitch. Alternatively, we will bring you the YouTube content, should that be more you're seeing, probably tomorrow morning, so that'll be up and running for you. But Jamie, I'll give you an opportunity to say thank you as well.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. Thanks for sticking with us through all the issues we had tonight. We got there in the end, and I hopefully delivered a great race. Just one last shout for all information. Don't forget to check out www.noobgamers.com with a Z, of course. Everything we do is up there, so it'd be great if you could give that a check out.
Indeed, and that's it from us this evening. Thank you once again for joining us for the Sunday stream, and we'll be back on Thursday, 8 p.m. for the final race of the Noob Gamer Season 2 Championship, so please tune in for that. But if, enjoy the rest of your week. If we don't see you Thursday, maybe see you Sunday. Whenever we see you again, I'm sure it'll be great. But we're going to go raiding now with some Sea of Thieves. We'll see you soon.